I'll come back to the Five Eyes.
मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि आपने जो बात की ना डीप स्टेट की, बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है। प्रेसिडेंट पुतिन ने क्या कहा था? पुतिन ने इंटरव्यू दिया पिछले साल, एक फ्रेंच मैगजीन है ला फिगेरो। उसने कहा कि आई बीन नेगोशिएटिंग विद अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट्स, और अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट्स उन्होंने बात भी की, बुश की, ओबामा की, एंड अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट्स मेक कमिटमेंट्स टू मी, दे डिस्कस, एंड देन ही सेड people come in dark suits with dark ties and they tell the American president, sir, this is what is in the national interest, this is what is not in the national interest. And what was promised by those American presidents to President Putin during their discussions, that is kept away.
नहीं तो रशियन डीप स्टेट भी होगी ना,
वो तो है,
वैगनर
वो तो नहीं, वो खुद उसका हेड है। पुतिन इज द हेड ऑफ दैट, ही इज केजीबी सारा, वो तो रशिया का तो बड़ा कंट्रोल है उसका। एक और किताब मैं आजकल पढ़ रहा हूँ, बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है,
नहीं एक मिनट,
और एक वो है काश पटेल की, नहीं उसमें किताब लिखी गवर्नमेंट गैंगस्टर्स, दैट इज द नेम ऑफ द बुक, एंड ही इज द ट्रम्प नॉमिनी फॉर FBI चीफ, और उसमें गवर्नमेंट गैंगस्टर से उसकी मुराद है द US गवर्नमेंट। So you know Trump का है, by American standards it's a revolutionary thing what is happening.
नहीं
ये it's never happened before.
देखिए मैं इसलिए
तो American system is in turmoil.
मेरा सवाल ये है, Five Eyes again I will say, लेकिन
Five Eyes is old news now.
No. Trump is abusing or saying कि he's going to be the governor of our 51st state.
Canada.
And
he lost his job. Justin Trudeau.
So he lost collapsed. My point is, where are the deep state? Where is the Five Eye? Second World War orders. And once he's saying, you have to buy oil from us, not from the other countries. He's talking to NATO and the Europe.
And also India.
And the BRICS. I mean, so where are the deep states of all these countries? And are they... I mean, the whole structures are dismantled of the deep states, the global deep states.
America does not look at these as equal partners. They are just servicing the American empire.
Okay.
America doesn't even look at the United Kingdom, at Britain as equal. America tells Britain, jump. Britain says, how high? Because it wants to be embraced by America for its own interest worldwide. So America doesn't look at these as equal partners, so it doesn't deal with them in that level at all. But let's get back to American policy. I want to give an example. An American policy which has been strictly followed since at least World War II is never to allow any rising power to be a hegemon or to be powerful in its own region. So it will always create what they call balancing. Other countries that will balance its power, it will make everything possible in order to create that balancing power, so it will never be comfortable enough in its own region. You know, to take an example of Turkey. Turkey was rising in the past 10, 15 years, so they created this sliver of territory on the northern of Syria so that they can empower the Kurdish troops, give them weapons, train 50,000, give them the oil fields, so that it will always be a threat to Turkey. Turkey makes it 180 degrees, and now it's afraid that its whole country could unravel. So what does Erdogan say? He's trying to extract from Trump some kind of promise to not support the Kurdish. So after 2018, when he met in Buenos Aires, when the whole world was talking about Khashoggi, he tried to deal with that. You know, Trump says, stop this Khashoggi, enough is enough. He says, when are you going to withdraw from Syria? Then he calls him 12 days later without consulting the deep state. So he says, I'm going to withdraw, because he was trying to get a concession. Let me just finish the story.
Yeah.
Then the whole establishment in the US go in turmoil. The Secretary of Defense resigns. This is $5 billion project that they have been pouring into northern Syria. They told the whole world that this is about ISIS, which wasn't about ISIS. This was about Turkey. They were training 50,000 troops, giving them heavy armaments that you don't need for ISIS, giving them $5 billion, giving them the oil fields. And now Trump is doing this without consulting anything, because he's transactional president. He doesn't think deeply. The whole establishment says no. Even the majority leader in the Senate writes an op-ed piece saying this is a threat to national security. So did he withdraw? He didn't withdraw, even though he promised and he gave these promises. He couldn't withdraw.
Professor, whatever you are saying is according to what exactly the same points were raised during the hearing of Tulsi Gabbard. she was saying that Americans during Obama administration, they supported the extremists to overthrow Assad. Now,
which is true.
Which is true.
But let me just let me make a correction. The objective was not to overthrow Assad. That was not the objective. The objective was to have a war of attrition against Assad and Hezbollah and Iran. They never armed the resistance or the opposition to the point where they can win. I sat next to a person at one point in a dinner who was in charge of the Syria and Libya office in the State Department. And I asked him, what is the US policy there? He said, no winner. I said, what do you mean? He said, we don't want any party to win. I said, why? He said, because both are not good for us. So I said, so what do you do? He said, we cannot control Assad. We control the opposition. We give them enough arms to fight, but not enough arms to win. That was American policy.
So this is
this is different now.
If Tulsi Gabbard comes in, what Americans will do? Will they keep supporting SDF, or they will withdraw the troops?
This is very interesting. If it wasn't Trump, I would say they will always do SDF. Now with Trump in, with his now think that he has been given the mandate to do what he wants, this would be a real test to what we call the deep state. Will he be able to be convinced by Trump, by Erdogan, to withdraw, and what is the cost?
What will be the future? Again, I'll come back after the break. That who will lead the Palestinians is important, because Hamas is Akhwan, and Palestinian Authority is anti-Akhwan. So are the number one. Number two is, I'll come to Houthis also, and I'll come to.
No, I think it's not about Akhwan. It's about Israel. Palestinian Authority is in league with Israel.
So after the break,
it's about the resistance. Who is going to
after the break? मैं आपके दोस्त के बारे में पूछूं ना, रिचर्ड ग्रेनल जो है, ऐसे गए और ऐसे जाके छुड़ा के ले आए वो 5 बंदों को। पाकिस्तान में पता चलना चाहिए लोगों को, ऐसे जाके छुड़ा के ले आए वो मेदोरो से मिलके। ये बड़ा अनएक्सपेक्टेड है।
talking to the enemy.
अच्छा, फाइन। और ये दूसरी बात ये है कि has the American dumped Netanyahu, or they dumped have they dumped Israel?
No.
Or what? I mean, we'll take a short break and come back. Welcome back, Khawateen o Hazrat, Professor Sami और Mushahid Hussain Syed sahab. Professor, this is going to be a meeting between President Trump and President Putin. And what's going to be the future of NATO and Europe after that?
Well, I think what Trump is trying to do is shut down the war. But I think Putin has put certain conditions that were not going to be accepted by the Americans, including Trump. Certainly not the deep state, not the establishment, which is that there has to be a guarantee that Ukraine will never be in NATO. That could probably come
expansion
over time.
No further expansion.
Not just expansion, that there is a guarantee in writing that Ukraine will never be part of NATO. But more importantly, that they have to recognize Crimea and the 4 oblasts that were annexed by Russia. That's going to be very, very difficult pill to swallow by the Ukrainians or the Europeans. So there will probably be more of a frozen conflict than an actual peace deal.
Mine is Zelensky.
I think he's gone. I think it's just a matter of time before he departs the scene.
Is Netanyahu gone, or I mean, Netanyahu's almost gone, I think. I don't think he'll survive after during the ceasefire or after the ceasefire.
In the Israeli political dynamics, Netanyahu is going to be there for at least 2 more years unless Smotrich withdraws from the government, because he has a majority. He has 62 seats right now. And you know, even if Ben Gvir stays outside the government, he still has a majority. But if Smotrich, for whatever reason, withdraws, which he will also be a loser because he can't win in the next elections, then Netanyahu will be gone. But I doubt that he will withdraw, because Netanyahu and Trump were going to bribe him so that this status quo continues.
Was Israel a CIA project or a British project? Well,
Israel, from the standpoint of a Zionist ideology that was embraced by the British back in 1917 and throughout the mandate, is a collaboration between the international Zionist movement and the British imperialist power, and then it was inherited by the American empire. So today what it is, it's an unholy marriage between imperialist powers led by the United States.
Once Trump says America first, so he says that we are going to build the Iron Domes ourselves. I'll come back to that. Future of Europe and NATO.
I believe NATO will survive. It will be weakened by Trump. I don't think he will unravel it. He is going to extort more defense budgets from the Europeans, and they will oblige. He is going to demand at least 2% of GDP of each country. I think they will come to that within 3 or 4 years. And therefore, Trump has to survive because NATO is the guarantee of American hegemony in Europe. The moment it is disintegrated or dismantled, then America will not have any kind of influence or leverage over Europe. And America must maintain its global hegemony for a simple reason. If the dollar is going to be the reserve currency of the world, which means America will always be the #1 economic power in the world because of that fact, then America will no longer be able to maintain its budget, its deficits.
America has never allowed even euro to rise.
Yes, I mean today 80% of the use of the trade is in American dollars, 62%. 80% of the deposits in the banks is in dollars, and 62% of international trade is in dollars. And America must have these numbers in order to be able to print as much dollars as it wants.
I'll come back to my point. After this peace agreement, if there is a peace or frozen or whatever you call frozen conflict between Americans and between Trump and Putin on Ukraine, minus Zelensky, even in that case, don't you think NATO is being defeated?
Of course, no doubt about that. That in this conflict with Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, Russia won the war.
Russia won the war.
And it's already won the war. I mean, it's not going to happen in the future. It has already been won.
So, I mean, so if NATO is being defeated, Mushahid Saab, so NATO is being defeated, they're demoralized. There are बहुत सी governments हैं यूरोप में जो चाह रही हैं कि NATO से pull out करें, वो जीत रही हैं election. They're winning the elections. जो कि राइट विंगर्स हैं.
सबसे सिग्निफिकेंट बात ये हुई है कि 2022 में बाइडन ने थ्रू अ कवर्ट ऑपरेशन नॉर्थ स्ट्रीम पाइपलाइन जिससे रूस की गैस यूरोप को सप्लाई करती थी
जर्मनी
तवानाई के लिए, वो तबाह की गई. उसको परसों डेनमार्क ने अनाउंस किया है कि उनके कॉन्टिनेंटल शेल्फ से गुजरती है कि वी विल रीबिल्ड इट, वी विल रिपेयर इट एंड रीस्टार्ट इट. यानी कि पुतिन की गैस यूरोप की तवानाई के लिए इस्तेमाल होगी अमेरिका की मुखालफत के बावजूद. तो ये डेनमार्क इज बदला ले रहा है ग्रीनलैंड का वैसे बाय द वे, और डेनमार्क इज पार्ट ऑफ नेटो. और दो जो बड़े मुल्क हैं यूरोप के, जर्मनी गवर्नमेंट हैज कोलैप्स्ड. 23 फरवरी को नई गवर्नमेंट आ रही है और नई गवर्नमेंट विल बी एक्सट्रीम राइट विंग, AFD जीतेगी, आप देख लेंगे. अच्छा, दूसरा आ गया कि मतलब जैसे समझ लें कि हिंदुत्व जीत गया इंडिया में, तो वही हिसाब है उनका. और दूसरा फ्रांस में क्या हुआ है, उसका बुरा, वो भी गवर्नमेंट कोलैप्स हो चुकी है. सो और ब्रिटेन इज नाइदर हियर नॉर देयर. इलॉन मस्क कह रहा है कि ब्रिटेन जो है इलेक्शन में धांधली हुई है, नए इलेक्शन कराओ. नॉट ट्रम्प, इलॉन मस्क इज इंस्ट्रक्टिंग that there should be fresh elections in England. तो यूरोप का हाल बहुत बुरा है.
अच्छा, ओके.
तो ये मगरिब का जो कोलैप्स है, जवाल है, उसकी इक्कासी कर रहे हैं यूरोप का. जो
मगरिब मींस लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी.
लिबरल तो कभी नहीं थे और डेमोक्रेसी मुनाफिकत थी.